This is Lauren.
This is Trey.
And this
is the Partnership Podcast.
I know this is very unimportant, but that roly thing, look at my hair.
Yeah, it looks great. You look like a lioness.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
This is usually like day one hair.
I'd like to incorporate it where it's like some type of like purity thing where you're like...
You can like a chastity belt.
Yeah, but it's like for your hair and then I just want to see it like shaking around.
Friends, I just got this... people with long hair might know there's like this bathrobe tie technique, except I got an actual thing and I've wrapped my hair around it at night in these big curls. And I've always resisted getting a thing like this because I like sex. And I'm like, that is not a type of thing you wear to bed if you want to have sex with your partner. So I've resisted getting it, but my big 40th birthday trip is coming up. And I was like, well, I'm going to be alone in a room and I want to have great hair and I don't want to have to shower every morning to get great hair. So I buckled and I got this thing and it's funny looking. And yet the results, chef's kiss. It's like they know what they're doing.
And also you've underestimated the lengths or things that I will bypass in order to sleep with you. Like you're my biggest turn on.
And so we were
most of the time.
We were saying that it would be like kind of funny to use it as almost like a chastity belt. Like, yeah.
It's like, oh, you can't, you like, I'm pure right now. You can't sleep with me right now. I have this in my hair. Like it can't be, my head can't be jostled around.
Yes. Yep. Getting turned on just talking about it. What's Jack Moran's erotic equation, honey? Go.
Obstacle plus barrier equals attraction. Okay, think about it this. When you're in an obstacle course or you're at like laser tag or something like that, you turn a corner and you need to look and you need to find. And then that's where the curiosity comes from. And
it's like when you sell wine, how for years the service
industry.
industry.
I was a waiter for years and years and like selling very expensive bottles of wine. And ask me about the wine. Sir,
this cab, what could I expect? It says on the menu, that it's from the Northern California region. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me a little bit more?
Oh, yeah. This one's lovely. It really tells a story. It's going to be rich without being overpowering, and it's really going to pair nicely with whatever you just ordered. Something like that.
No, but do the notes.
The notes?
You're like...
The notes sing.
And you're usually like...
There's a beginning.
Detect notes of...
There's a beginning. There's a middle. There's an end. It's almost like a 3-act play. And do you like Broadway? Me too. And the notes, grapes.
Trey just always teases, like, we have some friends who are sommeliers, and they'll sometimes bring something over, and they'll tell us about the beautiful wine that we're having, and Trey will be like, let me try. Mm-hmm. And you picked up some skills, and you're a trained actor, but it's just really funny. But you did the exact same things with the erotic equation that you do.
Thank you.
With wine.
And also the people that are the most knowledgeable about wine, where they're like legit, like they have almost doctorates or master's degree in wines, they take it the least serious. So just so you know out there, people, anybody that takes wine real seriously, especially if you're listening and you're a fan of this, you're a little bit full of shit. Let's get back to this one.
Yeah, my cousin C that I went and stayed and took care of her baby. She's not a sommelier, but she is extremely well trained for the restaurant that she works at, the fancy one. And yeah, she was the bottles of wine that I picked up for us to drink while I was taking care of her postpartum were $12 bottles of wine. Amazing.
Great.
Yeah, no, doesn't.
Yeah, the technology is so good now.
They know the good flavors. Anyway, the erotic equation, in case you actually wanted the real thing, is attraction plus obstacle equals excitement. And so when Trey and I have a mutual attraction, then you put an obstacle in, like my hair wrap, then you can be more excited. If it's like, no, this means you can't sleep with me tonight.
Yeah. It's hot as fuck.
So hot. Yeah. So that's why we were getting turned on, not Trey's obstacle course analogy, though. That was fun.
Thank you.
Anyway, welcome to the Partnership Podcast, y'all. I'm glad we started on kind of lighthearted note because we'd kind of like to go into a different kind of space today because something happened over this past week, and this is an incredible time for Trey and I to sit and talk about it. Yeah. You want me to lead the whole thing or you want to tell? Okay. So a couple days ago, Trey got the news that his mom passed away. And like many, many of us, our relationships with our parents are very complicated. And we've talked on this podcast a lot about your complicated relationship with your mother. And you guys had not talked in years. She recently had a stroke. You did an incredible job advocating for yourself with the licensed clinical social worker that was put on the case. You described the story. They listened with compassion and trauma-informed care and took you off as the main point of contact, which was incredibly beautiful. You were informed by the different hospital folk and long-term care facility folk and hospice folk as needed. But yeah, she passed away a couple days ago. And I have had the honor to witness you as you've been processing this. And it's not been easy. It's been full of conflicting emotions. It's been full of a lot of things that I'd love to give you time to talk about and to share your honest experience because I think it must be talked about more. We have this tendency to sanctify the dead, to all of a sudden say to someone, oh, I'm so sorry, and let's grieve, and oh, this is so sad. But I sent you a book yesterday that I have heard wonderful things about called I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy.
Oh, you sent me a Spotify link? I thought it was a song.
It's a book. Did you know on our Spotify Premium, you can listen to books? You don't have to buy them on Audible.
I didn't click on the link. I thought it was a song.
Oh, that's hilarious.
You're like, funny.
Thanks, babe. Thanks for this song. Mm-hmm. That's funny. Anyway, I want to give you an opportunity to talk about it.
Is it okay if you ask questions and kind of tee me up?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. When you first heard that she had a stroke a couple months ago, where did that land in your body? And how was it to hear that?
Not good. I had to research kind of what stroke is. For my mom specifically, she had a stroke where she could no longer communicate, make choices for herself. She couldn't talk. The best that she got to during rehab was being able to smile. So like if a doctor were to ask like, hey, 2 blinks for yes or 1 blink for no, that wasn't happening. So what is it? It becomes a legal thing where she can no longer speak for herself or advocate for herself. So is it next of kin or as her only...
Next of kin.
Yeah, next of kin. I'm her only son. She never remarried. She's not close with any of her family, so I became the person that they'd call and stuff. She had her friend she lived in Nebraska for a time. She's in Vegas. She moved to Vegas maybe 3 or 4 years ago. So she had a friend in Nebraska who was involved, and then she had a real estate agent. So it was me, a real estate agent, and her friend from Nebraska. Those were the people in her corner. And so I went into service.
For about a week or 2, 3?
Yeah. And I've been doing this has been really helpful for me lately, where it's an enthusiastic hell yes. There's a yes. There's a willing to. And then there's a tolerating, enduring. And then there's a fuck no. In that service, obviously I didn't ask for it. It was a willing to / tolerating, enduring. It was somewhere in there. Maybe at first it was a willing to. Did I want to? No, but I was willing to support after her stroke. It reminded me of my entire life with her, where I was in service. And I'm good at service. Boy, oh boy, am I good at service. I got trained up pretty fucking young. So I was now once again in service to my mother.
There's this concept we discuss in the healing world that I'm in called the parentified son. And one of the pitfalls of parentifying your son is that very early they take on an extreme amount of responsibility because they are forced to by a parent. And then later on in life, because they have been carrying an adult load for so long, we often see them say, hell no, I don't want to do this anymore. Sadly, it is usually when all of the compounding things of a life, taking care of a home, all of a sudden you have a wife and 3 kids and they have sports practices and yada, 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 yada. They just feel like it's been done to them and they're not a willing participant in this anymore. Would you talk for a little bit, because I think it could actually really help the audience, about ways in which you were parentified, responsibilities that were yours at a really young age, as an adolescent, as a teenager? You've talked before about being the contractor and things like this. Would you just talk? I know the reason I think this would be helpful is that I think more people need to be able to identify themselves in a storyline like this. And if you're willing to share just some of the ways in which you were asked to / forced to step up to the plate.
Sure, yeah. Like, I think 2nd or 3rd grade, I was kind of responsible for the laundry in my house. I remember doing the laundry. And that was like my job or my chores. And I think I was like $5 a week or whatever it was allowance, which is great as a 2nd or a 3rd grader. I did a lot of the like household cleaning stuff throughout the house. I was a latchkey kid. So when mom was working, because there were periods where she wasn't working, I was responsible for getting myself to and from school. As I got older, let's see, that was 8th grade. Yeah, I think 8th grade I started doing like the grocery shopping for the house. Contractor. So we would always redo apartments that we were in. Like paint, fixtures, sometimes carpet if the landlord would pay for it. So there was always like, whenever we moved into a new apartment, there was always struggle too. She was always fighting, or she was always trying to get her way, or imposing her will. And that was from my father. It was always a fight. There were very few times where it wasn't a fight between my mother and my father. I was always in the center of that. So I was always either the peacekeeper, the negotiator between. Those are some of my earliest memories. I don't remember this, but I was told that I would bring her a glass of like ice water because that was the only thing I knew how to do, probably when I was 2 or 3 years old, while she was usually on the phone arguing with my father. So I was the man of the house. Yeah, and I was the helper when it came to house stuff, and then I was the helper when it came to like upgrading a home stuff. Then I was the shopper. And then I had to take care of all of my stuff, where it was be good in school, which was a big struggle for me. I was a class clown. I was a little shit. I was constantly getting in trouble, constantly talking back to teachers. High school. When did I go to work? Oh, geez. So I went to work at 12. I was a little actor when I was in 6th grade to like 9th grade. I booked a couple of things, and then I booked a Nickelodeon film that we shot in 2000 in New Brunswick, New Jersey. It was called Crybaby Lane, if you wanted to look it up. I think you can see the full-length thing on YouTube. So that was really bad as far as my mom being there. Really bad. That was a big struggle. And then my money was gone after that because I supplemented her income. She should have never been there. I should have had a set teacher. It was what, like 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks of shooting. I really should have just had a set teacher, and she should have stayed in Los Angeles. Or excuse me, where we lived in Los Alamitos, California. And then after that, because I got kicked out of the house at like 18 or 19 when I was in junior college. And then after that, she moved apartments, this gorgeous apartment in Long Beach that overlooked the bay, the ocean. But I was her contractor for that. And so many improvements. And I think I got paid in like Trader Joe's gift cards, which I loved. Because as like a college kid, you're just struggling to get $5 in your tank and yeah, get food. Oh yeah, my hair would fall out. I remember the back of my because I was a full-time student, I was working part-time at a restaurant, and then I was like working part-time helping her. And she, I don't know, because she wasn't working, she was on disability. She had a hysterectomy, maybe ninth grade, so my freshman year, it was after the movie, which completely changed her entire hormones, and she became sedentary. Literally sedentary, where I would go to sleep. She was on the couch. She wouldn't sleep in a room anymore. She would sleep on the couch and watch TV. And her diet, I think, consisted of peanut M&Ms, which I would get for her. And that was a year or two. Wake up, she was on the couch watching TV. I'd go to bed, she was on the couch watching TV. And then flash forward, it was in my 20s. So she sold her apartment and then she bought this beautiful apartment. She put all this money into it. And I think she was immediately refinancing. I don't think there was ever any equity in the property. And she would refinance. She tried to start a website. And this was before Wix and Squarespace and all these things where you had to pay someone that knew how to code. This was in the early 2000s. And that failed. And I think she paid a guy like $25,000. She essentially was out of money. And her solution was to attempt suicide in order to, I don't know, I think I had a check coming to me. It was like a justification where like, oh, I can get Trey like I don't know, some check or because she was out of cash and her solution was suicide. Her friend ended up finding her like a day or two later. She tried to do it with pills. And so yeah, I got a phone call when I was at junior college one day of like your mom committed, she attempted suicide. They pumped her stomach. She's in the hospital now. So I went over to the house and she had thrown up everywhere, all over the house, and ended up like on a couch or something where they found her. So I ended up cleaning up all the vomit while crying. That was a day. And when she got released, I was so mad at her. So mad at her. And I remember sharing how upset I was at her. And she was upset at me that I didn't have empathy for what she was going through, which is justifiable. I didn't have any poor thing in me. I had more, you couldn't even do this right. Yeah. Like you even fucked this up. I had more of that in me. Whereas like it's just one fuck up after another with you. And then we got to clean up your fucking vomit. And you want poor thing. She foreclosed on her house. She moved to St. George, Utah. She moved in with her mother, which was, I knew would be a disaster. And I don't think we spoke for a decade. I think she went to Nebraska. She started teaching again, which she had her credentials. She had a Juris Doctorate, too. She had a JD in law. She never passed the bar. She never finished. Smart woman, funny woman, charming woman, bipolar. I never got hit. I always got threatened to be hit. And then I got raged at. She would rage at people and ruin relationships, one after another, of her close friends, or she had a couple of boyfriends. Excuse me. And then, so I don't think we spoke for a decade. We had a conversation one time. This was the first time that we had reconnected. I don't remember why. I think she reached out. And I was driving into, because I tried to restart my acting career. So I was driving into LA to get fit for like a background something, and we had a conversation in the car, and she talked, I want to say, for like 15 minutes complaining about her family members. This was the first time we had spoken, and I just let her. And then I finally reached capacity where I go, oh, hey, I got to go. Like, I got to get off the phone. And she was a little off put by that. And went in, got my fitting, great. And I missed my exit, or I missed my merge onto a different freeway. And this is Los Angeles, where like those things cost you 20 minutes. And I became so violently angry in my car. The angriest I've ever been in my life. In my car once I missed that exit. Like, I think I dented the side of my panel. Like, I lost my voice. I think it was so much rage coming out of me. I don't think we spoke for a very long time after that. I think it was years and years again. Oh yeah, once I got here in like 2021, once I got into golf, because she was from Fort Worth, Texas, and I reached out to her through text, and I wanted to know, like, because I knew my grandfather was involved in golf in Texas, and he was a big deal once upon a time, which doesn't mean much. He wasn't a good guy by my opinion of him. But in that circle, he was a, quote, big deal. So we started exchanging stories on golf, and I go, oh, this is really fascinating, and people love these stories about like these golf legends that she was around. And I was like, let's write a book. She goes, great. And she became very flighty about certain things. And then I said something flippant to her, like via text. And so that was another 3 or 4 years that we hadn't spoken. And text was nice too, because it was like, oh, this was nice. Or it's like, and then flash forward to, I think it was Mother's Day. She had a stroke, and then they got a hold of me, I think like 9 or 10 days later. And then, so that was May, right? June? When's Mother's Day? May?
In May.
June, July. It's August, September. It's the middle of September now, so that was 4 months ago, approximately. So here we are. And yeah, she was. I approved the transfer into hospice about a week ago, and it didn't take long. And I got a call Sunday. It's Wednesday today. I got a call Sunday afternoon. They called 2 times in a row, and I picked up the second time. And they said she expired. They didn't use passed away. They said expired, which is very strange. Expired.
Really?
She expired. Yeah.
Huh.
So I'm currently closing out her. She'd recently bought an apartment which she doesn't have any equity in, so that's going to be foreclosed. And I'll connect with a real estate agent, see if I need to hire either a donation company or a junk company to throw her things away. I don't think I'm going to go out there. I need to contact the mortuary. I'm going to have her cremated, sent here, and then spread her ashes somewhere beautiful. I didn't fly out to see her while she was in the hospital. I didn't fly out to see her while she was in hospice. I was kind of waiting for a big pull to do so. It never came. And then Saturday night or Sunday when she passed, or the day before, day after, this big kind of like dreams, like, getting notification in my dreams or from the universe or from God or whatever, that never came either. And so I will continue to be in service for my mother for the next couple of days. Sunday, once I knew and once I told you, I grieved during hospice. Mm-hmm. When she got moved to hospice, I went through a brief state of grief where I was very sad. Once I got confirmation from the hospital, it was relief. And then the day after, it was kind of persnickety anger, where I was arguing with people that deserve to be told, hey, you're not, these are random people. And that's what I do. I argue with people in my mind. It's not good. I'm working on it. And then you so astutely asked me, what did you ask me? You asked me something so fucking powerful, where it was like, who do you argue with the most, or who would you want to win these arguments with the most? And it was like, my mom. Because I couldn't.
That.
As a kid, I couldn't. As an adult, I could walk away. And so it's been 4 decades of service to my mother. I acknowledge it hasn't been a one-way street. I acknowledge that she loved me well. She provided for me. And also I acknowledge that she never worked on herself. And boy, oh boy, it was the rare day that she took accountability or she changed her behavior. I don't remember those, if they happened.
Thank you so much for sharing. It's wild to hear your story as a mother. And it makes so much sense when I hear your story. How sometimes you'll kind of like stop in your tracks and you'll comment on the way I parent the baby. Specifically that last bit that you just said about taking accountability. In everything that I've read and studied, that's the parent's job. It's not a kid's job to figure out their parent's trauma, to practice trauma-informed care with a parent, to say, oh, this is why. It's a parent's job. I can look at your mom's story and grieve for the support that she didn't have, to acknowledge that most likely her own parents fucked up in some way, shape, or form, to look at the fact that she had a hysterectomy, and I bet no one explained the medical menopause that she was going to go through and talked about the hormonal crash that she was going to experience. But that's not your job to understand. That's a parent's job to do the work. I find it fascinating that anger is a secondary emotion. It's a protective layer for something deeper underneath. And so the fact that she was so often so angry with you, or expressing rage in a car in the way she would, makes me wonder what was going on underneath the surface. And so interesting to me. I've heard that story before about that chat you guys had in the car on your way into LA downtown, and the costume fitting and the coming home and the insane anger you felt. And I just applaud you for knowing a limit without knowing that it was a limit, like understanding the source, right? The inflow had come in through something. And I am just, this is so often what I see in clients, what I've read about, is that so often we'll allow these folks in our lives who non-consensually take, right? When we think about Wheel of Consent and we think about the quadrant that she was in, this conversation was in essence a listening turn, and you were doing the allowing and she was doing the taking. Except no one had negotiated this. You had not said, yes, Mom, I will sit here and let you talk for such and such amount of time. No, so often we as a child of a parent desire to be seen, desire to be parented, desire to be loved, to be questioned, to be interesting. We desire for our parent to, I don't know, call us crazy, love us. And think, oh, this is my kid, I want to know. Mm-hmm. Think about when the baby comes home from a few days apart from us. We're both like we're so. The other day we were all like clumped in the bathroom. Guys, we have this like very small main bathroom, and it's always funny when we notice that we're all in there because we're all just trying to get time with each other, and we're asking questions, and she will jokingly say, "Oh, did you guys miss me?" Because she knows the answer is yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That is what a child should want.
We were raised by boomer parents who loved us the best they could, because I think they were raised by fucking psychos.
Who were, yeah, I mean, it just keeps going back. Exactly.
Maybe particularly because my grandfather and probably your grandfather, they were World War II veterans.
Vietnam.
Most likely in this country,
yeah.
in the United States. So I don't think I don't think they particularly liked her. Mm-hmm. And I think there was abuse. I don't know if it was sexual. I don't know what it was. I think there was a lot of abuse that happened to my mom that she was actually trying to unpack and unwind. And she was doing the best she could.
Yeah.
And I'm doing the best I can when it comes to supporting her.
Interesting how we kind of started out talking about the parentified son and how even in the last days you've had to serve a parent role.
It's business as usual, and I honestly wouldn't expect any different.
I know.
From her.
I know.
I wouldn't expect her to have a will or, any of these legal documents. I wouldn't expect her to be prepared or have anyone, any people that it might have been uncomfortable for her to have people that were supportive and loyal to her. She might, yeah. I don't, a lady she knew in Nebraska, and then her real estate agent. Yeah. And then me. Those were her people. I don't want to repeat her life. I don't want to be so sick and stressed out that I'm going to have a stroke that takes away my voice and my ability to care for myself. I don't want to be so unprepared that there isn't a legal directive put into place. And I don't want to die alone. So I will choose to look at my bullshit. And I'll choose to take care of myself. And I'll choose to manage my stress. And I don't want to be like her. And I don't want to raise the baby. I don't want to be a parent like her. I don't want to treat you like she treated me. I don't want to treat anybody like she treated me.
I think, ironically, one of the best ways we can honor our parents is say, thanks for the baton. Mm-hmm. I'll take it from here. And I'm going to do a hell of a lot better than you did. It can be with an empathetic lens that we're like, yeah, okay, exactly. I think there might have been some abuse. I think you might have been raised by assholes. I understand you were doing the best you could. It wasn't enough. And what a way to honor her, babe. To say, I'm going to get introspective. I'm going to have people on my team. I'm going to have a will. I'm going to learn the why behind my actions. What a way to honor her. And to say, it stops here. I will not perpetuate that type of trauma into other people's lives. It stops here. It stops with me. What a way to end generational trauma. What a way. It takes incredible courage. It takes incredible curiosity, which interestingly enough is a thing that freezes when we're being screamed at. Our window of tolerance shrinks when we need to stay safe, right? That defensiveness that you feel come up in your body. Yeah, there's a reason. A big lady screamed at you when you were little. And the only thing that comes up in the body is a safety-seeking strategy, which then is a body's pattern forever and ever. But you are repatterning. Yeah. We don't have to condone or pardon or excuse anything she did to you. We can have compassion. We can say, wow, you were doing the best you could do. But it is not an excuse to treat a child that way. It's not. It's a parent's job. And I'm so proud of you. This is not easy. It's a lot simpler to say, to kind of abdicate responsibility, right? To say, well, my mom fucked me up, and so this is just how I am. And I'm just going to be like this. Why do you not want to be like that?
I didn't like it done to me.
Okay, closing question. at the end of your life? Paint a picture for me of what, if you could wave a magic wand, what you're surrounded by, what you're leaving in your stead, right? Because we're all going to pass away. I mean, that's the other thing that's so fascinating to me is like that we all try to pretend like we're going to cheat death. I'm like, no, we're all going to die. So like, what do you want people to say about you? What do you want? How do you want it to be different? When I'm doing this podcast after you die, because you're going first.
Me, yes, correct.
I hope we go together, like some ridiculous notebook story.
I'm going first.
Or like that thing in Sweden or somewhere where they both got in the pod and they listened to their music and they floated off together into death. That's us, babe.
No, we're not doing it together.
Yes, we are.
Okay, all right. So this is about me, not about us. Vigorous lovemaking.
Oh, you want to die fucking?
No. Can I? I'll finish.
I've done so well at not interrupting you. It's about time. Go ahead.
Fair enough. Vigorous, you've done a great job. Vigorous lovemaking. Maybe die on a golf course, just face down in the sand. That's funny to me. Die funny. I want to die in a funny way. But it's the horse plowing the field. And the horse plows the field, and then he just kind of keels over. I want them to say that he was healthy, he took care of himself, he moved a lot, he was still sharp in the end, he was still funny, he was still all there, and it was his time. And he did what he said he was going to do, and there wasn't a lot of bullshit in him, and he was a benefit. He was a positive to his people and society. He didn't take non-consensually, and he didn't lie, cheat, steal, manipulate. He did a good job, and then that's it. I'm good. And I'd like you to take on like lovers younger than you. That's what I'd like. Probably multiple lovers younger than you. That's probably a topic for another podcast. Anyway, thanks for coming to this episode of... Always ends weirdly erotically. Excuse me. Keep sniffing into this thing. Pardon me.
Yeah. Love that you said he was a benefit. Yeah. I think people are going to have a whole lot more to say about you, but it's very on par for you that it was pretty short and sweet. Maybe I'll limit everyone at your funeral to like 2 sentences. I'll be like, Trey would have wanted us to keep it brief. So we're all going to say 2 sentences, and then we're going to have Coors Lights in the backyard.
And barbecue.
In his honor.
And barbecue. And wear bright colors. Just wear bright colors. Cremate me. I don't want to be buried. Yeah. And spread me somewhere.
Oh, I'm spreading you.
Thank you.
I'm going to take you all across the United States.
Okay.
At each of our places.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you. Mm-hmm. All right. Great. She's looking at me like she's excited about me dying.
I'm not excited about you dying. This is the thing.
She does host a good party.
I do. I'm not going to, I don't know. Hopefully I'm dead before you because I don't want to imagine the days without you. I think that if we do not consider that life ends, we are missing out on a very erotic possibility. And people always get very confused when I talk about the eroticism of death. It reminds us of the brevity of this life. It reminds us to savor these moments. It reminds us that life can be sweet and delicious and curious and playful and sensual and sexual. And it's ours to live, like now, right now. And I think as a culture, as a world, we have become so far removed from death that we forget to let it affect us. I don't want you don't need to grieve about your mom, but I do think we can be like, allow death, and we've had a lot of it around us recently, to act as a fucking wake-up call sometimes. To say, what needs to change now so that when I go, this is what happens. We did that with our last wills and testaments. Yeah, we had another death around us and we were like, we need to make this happen. We've put it off too long. And you did it in like a day. Thank you. But I also think when it comes to the relationships we want to lead, to the mending we need to do, to the investment, to the play, I think we miss something if we fail to remember that life ends. We need to stop putting off things. And you're not that person. But I don't know. It could be that I'm about to turn 40 too. And that I'm very aware that we might get to 80. We might not.
Mm-hmm.
We might get to go out on the golf course, plow in the field. I love that. We might have a stroke.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You hyperbaric chamber, you sauna, you do all the good things, but we don't know what's coming our way. And I want to live now.
Great.
And sure, I'll spread your ashes in those places, but I also want to do road trips with you and continue to create incredible memories.
Mm-hmm.
And I want us to continue to heal and continue to love. And I think we're on a good path.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah. So thank you for telling your story. I think there's many out there with fractured relationships with their parents. And so many of them, what I see, are bleeding into their current relational structures because of the ways in which they are literally like pouring into and taking from their child's life.
It's such an easy bleed. It's so easy. The overlap is so easy.
We have so many narratives that are like, you have to. Their family, their blood, they're all of these things. Those are dangerous lies. Really dangerous ones. So I'm proud of you. Really proud of you.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for coming to this episode of the Partnership Podcast. Thank you, Trey. Make sure to subscribe. Remember, these are our opinions, our stories. Take what you like, leave the rest. You have a right to self-determination and informed decision-making. If you want to talk more about how our relationships with our parents bleed into our romantic relationships here and now and our other relationships, go to sexedforyou.com/free consult and request a consult. I'd love to chat with you. May you all live, love, and have great sex. Bye-bye.